everybody. My name is Kevin Carrington. I am the founder of the C3 Initiative. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization who is purposed with unlocking the STEM and STEAM potential that's lying inside of Black children all over the country. When we were founded a few years ago, we were founded on the principle that deep inside of all of our children, there are solutions that are running rampant. It's a funny story that I constantly get the opportunity to share. But one day, as I was walking out of a public restroom, you get inspiration anywhere, right? I was walking out of a public restroom, and right there on the wall, I saw a statement that said, "What if the cure for cancer was locked inside of the mind of a kid that can't afford an education?" Totally blew my mind. It changed the course of what I've been working on in my career. And shortly after, I founded the C3 Initiative. And the focus of the C3 Initiative is not necessarily to encourage kids to go into tech solely. What it really is to have our children that already have solutions that they've been bouncing around in their minds. It's to give them tech as a tool, give them tech like GIS as a tool so that they can paint those solutions on the world that we live in to help solve some of the problems in the future. We not only, obviously, as we work to develop the C3 Initiative, we think really big, we dream really big, and so we set out on a mission years ago to unlock 1 million African American youth as far as tech is concerned. And as we've just started, we are underway. We've trained about 600 youth through our C3 Expo, which is a service model that we've launched with. The Expo is an amazing event where kids get to come, and you do not need any prior knowledge. You do not need to know how to code. You don't need to know robotics. If you just want to find out about these skill sets, you get to show up. And I promise you, one of the differentiators of our organization is not just that, we didn't want to teach in a lecture style format. Oftentimes, our children have found that the educational system is not necessarily tailored to the way that every child learns. And so what we've decided to do is to deploy a scenario-based learning model. Now, what that scenario-based learning model does is it makes our coding camp look more like a ride at Disney than it does a lecture hall. And this, by kids being able to be plugged into a scenario and forced to not only be entertained by the scenario, but be forced to learn the skill sets necessary to solve the problems, there is immense learning, immense problem solving. I'm telling you, our children will surprise and show up every time because they have the skills locked inside of them, which is why our mission is just to unlock it. This is our second year here as this educational spotlight, and we are so thankful to our partners at North Star and at Esri for giving us an opportunity to share a little bit about what we do here at the C3 Initiative. In October, coming up, we've got a big C3 Expo that's going on, and we would really love to see any of you guys who are looking to come and participate. Hello? What? Hey, what's going on? What's happening?
Director Carrington, we've been hacked.
Hacked?
We have been hacked.
What do you mean hacked?
Yes, our servers have been hacked.
It's not possible. Shuri herself built our mainframe. It's not even possible to get in there.
Listen, I don't know what's going on, but there's some guy named Jacob. He's in our servers. He's in our system.
Look, this is not possible. It's not possible for someone to be in our system.
He's there.
What? The T? What is that?
I can't. It says T.
You know what?
A.
Don't worry. I'll shut it out. Look, the technology hasn't even been invented yet to hack into our mainframe.
actually, we do have a module. It's not complete yet.
Well, let me see what's going on here. Hold on.
It's not
Well,
not complete,
Not yet. Let's see. Hold on.
but Director Carrington, it just might work.
Hold on. Let's see if we can. Oh, I'm about to lock him out, right? I can't stop him. He's taking over our broadcast.
See me? All right, good. Hear me okay? Great. Sure nobody else is paying attention. Someone is here. And who is here? The Time Variance Authority. Yes, my name is Jacob. I work for the Time Variance Authority. Another way we say that is the TVA. We are in control and work for the set of timekeepers who keep track of the timelines. Now, you're wondering why I use plural when it came to this idea of timelines, because you all usually only think of time in this way. Very linear, one direction. You see, from top to bottom, time passes through. Or maybe even this way, time as simply one line starting here from the past to the present and then in the future. And we can usually only believe that we can stay in this one spot right here in the present. However, what we do here at the TVA is we don't simply deal with time in a linear fashion, because we understand that time operates differently into multiple timelines, which we call the multiverse. Yes, multiverse. Their timeline doesn't just simply go from past, present to future, but it branches off into different multiverses. And what we must do is make sure that even the different multiverses, the different breaks in this one timeline that go off into the multiverse are going according to the timekeeper's plan. That's what we have to make sure happens, that it goes according to the timekeeper's plan. However, there are what we have called variants. Variants that leave their particular timeline and go to other timelines. What do? They cause, in some cases, not only disruption, but what we have learned here are nexus events. These are events that disrupt not only one timeline, but multiple timelines, and it can cause all kinds of chaos and havoc, and the timekeepers and we at the TVA cannot have that. Now, nobody believes I'm about to tell you. They don't believe in this disruption that has been taking place that we have been monitoring. I have personally been monitoring, because no one here can help. I've been monitoring a certain section of the population, the African American population, and I've gone back to 2010 and have gone all the way to 2026. And I have noticed that there are some disruptions, some issues with the population, and they're not taking place amongst other ethnicities, but just this one particular group. And it doesn't make sense to me. I've talked to the timekeepers about it, I've talked to my colleagues about it, and nobody believes me, and so they will not give me the resources to help. But I found that there is a group called C3, Mission Control, and that is you. And so what I've done is I have hijacked your demonstration that is taking place for your Esri conference. And what I've done is I've set up a learning module in your Mission Control. Now, if you follow the instructions on this module, you will be able to help me find whether or not there are variants on the loose disrupting this timeline and affecting the African American population in 2026. I cannot stress how important this is. I'm asking you, if you can please help me, we'll be able to solve this problem. And if we can solve this problem and discover whether or not there are variants, we might be able to stop the nexus event. Run. Follow the instructions on your Mission Control. I've lodged everything that you need is inside there. You don't need to do anything. Just follow the instructions. I'll see you in a bit.
How in the world did he know about Mission Control? It's classified.
Yeah, I have no idea how he knew about it.
Let's see. Wait a minute. At the beginning of his broadcast, did you see that it said November 2020?
Yeah.
Did we just get a mission from the past? This is crazy. Oh my goodness. It looks like, Director R, we're gonna have to activate the C3 protocol.
We need the kids.
We need the kids. All right, agents. Calling all C3 agents, wherever you are. We need your help. We're activating the C3 protocol right now. Apparently, we just got a mission from the past. So it looks as though we're gonna need to wait. It looks like we're gonna need to use our Esri ArcGIS Online tool to.
I think that'll help.
It might. It just might.
If we have the kids watch this demonstration, I think we can solve this problem.
And we can launch it through C3 Mission Control. I hope it's ready, man. I just don't know. Well,
Just launch it.
we're about to find out.
Just launch it.
So kids, it looks like Jacob works at the TVA. And it looks like there are multiple timelines. I don't know how he did it, but it looks like we have access to data, not just in the past, but in the future as well. It looks like through ArcGIS Online, we can even do predictive analytics on a geographical scale. This is spatial analysis we've never seen before. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't know if this is going to work. It's a classified module that we've been working on building. During the pandemic, we've worked really hard at building this C3 mission control. We don't know if it's fully ready, but when we launch this, all of you agents, wherever you are going to have access to the learning modules, the skill sets that have been kept away from many of us for so long, to learn how to code geographical information systems.
I think it's ready.
All right, guys, here we go. Launching C3 mission control right now.
First thing we need to do is sign in. Go to arcgis.com and click sign in. Now enter the username and password that you were given. Click sign in. You'll be taken to the home page. Okay, agents, now that you're logged in, the next thing we need to do is to prepare our map. Click Map on the home screen. Now click Open in New Map Viewer. This is the latest and greatest map viewer provided by Esri on ArcGIS Online. Now see a map of the United States. Click Search and type in the city that you live in. It'll zoom the map over to that location. We can also hit the plus to zoom in or the minus to zoom out. We can also click on the map and drag to pan. We can click base map if we want to change the background map that we see. Let's click imagery, and you'll see satellite imagery of the area on your map. We can continue to zoom in, and you'll get more details on your map. You can also change to other base map options, such as streets, topographic, or dark gray canvas. I'm going to leave mine on dark gray canvas now. Once you have the map the way you like it, click on the Save and Open option and click Save. Now give your map a name. Give it a tag. In this case, we would put in TVA, and then give it a summary of your map. Once you're done, click Save Map. And your map will be saved. That concludes this lesson. Okay, agents. The TVA has provided us some data that identifies an area known as the Inland Empire, where they are seeing anomalies. We need to add this data to our map. In order to do that, we'll click Layers. Now click Add Layer. We are going to add the TVA Inland Empire Black Population 2026 layer. Click the plus, and it'll add that map to the layer. Now we want to display the data differently, so we're going to click the X here, so we can create new symbology for the map. We'll now hit the field button so that we can display our map based on a different field. In the search fields, we will type 2026 and select the 2026 Black population. This will show us Black population in different areas that is projected in 2026. You'll see our map has changed. It is now colored based on the population of these areas. Hit done. And click Layers again. And this ends this lesson.
Just got a message. Looks like you all have finished your map. Let me confirm. Yes. Very good. This is very good. So far, you have simply updated your maps. And now you're ready to do some of the analytics. Yes, you'll be able to analyze to see whether or not there are some variants that are loose. So continue to follow on the instructions from the next few modules that have been set up through your C3 mission control. And then I will be able to confirm whether or not I'm seeing something here. Yes. Okay, yes. Analyze this data. As soon as the data is analyzed, I will run it through all systems check, and then we'll be able to see whether or not there is truly a variant that is loose in 2026 amongst the African American population in the Inland Empire.
Okay, agents, we now need to analyze the data we received from TVA so that we can find out if there has, in fact, been a change in the African American population in specific areas from 2010 to 2026. In order to do that, we're going to do a hotspot analysis. First thing you need to do is to click Open Map in Map Viewer Classic. Once the map opens, select Analysis. Now click Analyze Patterns, and then select Find Hotspots. We will use the layer we received from the TVA that you downloaded earlier. We are going to do our analysis on the black pop change field. This will show us the amount of change that has occurred in specific areas. Name your layer, and then select Run Analysis. We will return once the analysis is complete. The hotspot analysis is now complete. We can now see where we've had the greatest change in the African American population. Blue indicates where the population has declined. Red shows where it's increased. The more intense the color, the greater the change. There's a couple of areas that came to my attention. First is this area with the city of San Bernardino and the surrounding cities. It's very blue. It looks like the population has decreased greatly from 2010 to 2026. We've also found this area at Eastvale that is very red. That means the population has increased between those two timelines. We're going to need to report this to the TVA for further analysis.
All right, looks like you all are finished, and I'm going to check the data. This That is absolutely genius. A heat map. I absolutely never would have thought of using a heat map to be able to track variance and where they are affecting the population on the timeline. This is absolutely perfect. All right, now, I don't have much time. I have been using some open servers to be able to get this information. I did not have enough time to create a backdoor pathway. But listen, based on the information that you all have come up with at C3, and this is exactly why we chose you. I knew you all would help. Director Fury was absolutely right. This is the place. Now, with that being said, I have come to the conclusion that there are variants on the loose in the 2026 timeline affecting the African American population. And it looks like the manner in which they're affecting them is that more of the population of African Americans is moving to Eastvale, but they're not in San Bernardino anymore. And we believe that what the variants have done is they are disrupting the resources to the African American community. If this continues, we will see another Nexus event like we saw in the year 2020. That must not take place. And so what we are going to do, we are going to be calling on you, C3 agents again, because I am not sure how much longer I can go undetected. Even using this pathway to be able to get the final analysis has definitely alerted some people in TVA. And so what we need you to do is stay tuned for the next mission control, because you all are going to take all of this data, analyze it to be able to discover what the variants specifically are doing, where they're doing it, so that we can get the timeline back to where the timekeepers originally have wanted to be. I cannot thank you enough. Stay tuned. Mission number two. Mission number two. For mission control. Thank you, Steve. You all have no idea what it is that you
Wow. It's blowing my mind. We got a mission from the past and our kids actually helped yet again.
Yeah, I think, and the mission are gonna continue.
They're not gonna stop.
Yeah, mission number 2 is coming soon.
Oh man. Well, I want to thank you first for being with us as we showed off just an example of what our C3 mission control is going to be about. Ralph, you want to talk a little bit about its
Yeah.
origin?
Let me tell you why mission control is important. About 2 years ago, we went to an equity conference right here in the Inland Empire that was put on by the
Department of
the
Education.
Department of Education in Riverside County. And we basically did a mini conference,
C3
like
Expo.
a C3 Expo for teachers and educators right here in this area. And so they went through the program, and what the feedback that we got from them is, we love scenario-based learning. This was exciting. It was a great experience. And for those of you who may not have experienced C3 or seen it on our website, when the kids go through a scenario-based learning experience with C3, their eyes just pop wide open. I mean, they get so excited about it.
It's awesome.
And of course, we get excited just watching them.
We probably have more fun.
We
putting it together.
we have as much fun as the kids have.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, the teachers just gave us the feedback. Like, we had a lot of fun today. Ralph, Kevin, Mike, you know, we would love it if you can help us to bring this to our classroom. And so we thought that, so we came up with this concept of mission control. I'll let Kevin talk a little bit more about it. And we think this is the way to bring scenario-based learning to classrooms everywhere, really.
Everywhere. I'll piggyback a little bit off of that before I jump into what we've developed. I've even heard, Ralph, from parents who have had kids who show an affinity for learning GIS or some other form of coding or technology, but it's not available in the classrooms as well. And so this C3 Mission Control is not just a module for the classroom everywhere, but also modules that parents can go through at home with their kids as well to get them through it.
Yeah, and I'd like to add, so there are 3 areas that we're going to start with.
Absolutely.
And for mission control, we definitely would like to teach kids GIS.
That's
just
right.
introduce them to, that was a very basic lesson.
Extremely
how
basic.
to log in, how to create a map,
Yeah.
how to, add data,
Mhm.
how to analyze the data using a heat map.
That's
So
right.
we'd like to, of course, continue with teaching them
Yeah.
concepts through scenario-based learning.
Before we get into that, Ralph, one of the things I just want to add on to that is, we take these ultra complicated concepts, and through the curriculum that you develop as our director of curriculum, we are able to whittle it down to these simple, story-based models so that kids can not just digest, but they can actually repeat these skills and actually, learn and further, and they'll get more complicated as time goes on.
As time goes on. So we start simple and then we kind of build on those. So we want to include a Scratch.
Mhm.
So Scratch is another.
Well, let's tell them a little bit about Scratch.
So Scratch is kind of, think of it as Lego block
Yeah,
coding.
that's right.
That's the best way I can describe it.
It's accurate.
You take these pieces, these visual pieces on a screen, you put them together, and they fit together, and you run a program.
That's exactly
And
right.
the kids are learning how to think logically. They're learning if-then statements. And it's amazing just to watch the kids put it together, run the program, and then say, well, it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do.
Right.
So they make a couple of adjustments and then run it again.
Yeah.
And we're doing this in online applications where they're moving things across the screen,
Yeah.
but we're also using the same language to help them do robotics, so they can actually take the code and they can load it into a robot,
Yeah.
and then the robot will basically execute these different commands. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, we
Yeah.
can use mission control to teach them how to do that on screen
Absolutely.
and to do a little bit of robotics.
Absolutely. And in that first module, or that we'll be teaching through our C3 mission control, Scratch is slated, C3, our focus is the K through 12 group.
Right.
And so Scratch allows us to focus on the younger population.
Like
so that
8 to 12.
8 to 12-year-olds is where we focus it for them. So if these kids have never had any access to these tools, and remember, and I love this so much because this is just, remember, we're giving them the tools so that they can set their minds on the solutions that they want to solve, in the future. So Scratch module is specifically targeted at
Our 8 to 12-year-old group. Yeah. And so when they come to the expo, if any of your kids are coming to the expo in October, and we also have one in November,
right.
then the 8 to 12-year-olds will be learning Scratch.
That's right.
Now, for our older kids, they're learning Python,
Mhm.
and I think they'll learn a little bit of Raspberry Pi
That's
as
right.
well.
And
So-
some Arduino.
But, I'm sorry, as Arduino,
Yeah,
it's Arduino, that's right. So, but we're primarily Python, so we're thinking to take that language and also have a missions for the kids that want to learn Python.
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that Python and Arduino codes, and this is just not just limited to those languages. The possibilities are endless, really. One of the things that I love about C3 Mission Control and what we do at the C3 Initiative is we are partnering not just the skill set, but we're partnering with the tech companies that are utilizing these skill sets every day to solve problems of today. And this is a perfect example of one. Through our partnership with the folks at North Star and the folks at Esri, we're able to take GIS learning and put it in the hands of our young people and put it in their hands in the context of solving problems. So it's not just learning to pass a test. You're actually learning to solve a problem. And doing it in the C3 Mission Control model allows these kids to not just only be connected to the skill set, not just only connect to the solution or the problem, but also connect to the companies that are working hard at pushing that technology forward to solve those problems, thereby allowing C3 to kind of be the bridge that helps to close the loop and hopefully helps to solve the diversity gap, helps to solve the skill gap in the workforce. We're working hard, to kind of do that through this C3 Mission Control module and even our C3 Expo.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm most excited
Yeah.
about is introducing kids to coding, introducing them to really everything that C3 is working on, because the kids can also be a part of story development. We have a lot of great ideas, but for mission control specifically, I think what's most important is it's going to allow us to take our scenario-based learning concept that has been working really well at our expos and really begin to bring this to the world.
Yeah. I want to just go back a little bit to have a conversation about the power of scenario-based learning in this model. I came up, I'm a product, just as you are, of the traditional educational system. And if I can just tell a quick story, if that's okay. One of my undergraduate degrees is in computer information systems. And Everett Roper, Dr. Everett Roper, I will never forget his name. He was my logic teacher in my computer information systems course. And he taught us, pretty much taught me coding, basically. And the way he taught coding, he would come into the classroom. I mean, this is straight Mr. Holland's Opus stuff. You know what I mean? Like he didn't jump on the table, but he comes into the classroom with this pseudocode written up. And he says, hey, this farmer needs to be able to sell hay of varying weights and varying styles to a bunch of customers. He doesn't have a cash register. And so you need to code a cash register that allows him to sell, the varying weights based on what people would like. So our assignment, like literally he walks in the classroom, our assignment is on a piece of paper like this. He hands it out to everyone and he leaves the classroom. And we know that we have 2 weeks to pretty much solve this problem. And I will tell you, still to this day, and I'll admit, I haven't done any hardcore coding, but I can still get on and code a cash register because of that experience that I had. And the light continues to go off for what we do here at C3 Initiative, because for me, and I grew up with a father who owned his own electronic company, so I grew up around tech. My dad was fixing VCRs. I would come home after school and have to work with him in VCR, in the shop fixing TVs, VCRs, computers, you name it. But not all of our kids have that same access. And so I just kept thinking about how the scenario, the skills that we learned to code, he taught it maybe like in the first class. And so everything that I was doing was fixing my mind on solving problems, not so much the memorizing of syntax or the memorizing of how functions are crafted. I learned it through building a cash register for a farmer, or I think we actually did one as well where we had to make a star kind of move along a line across a computer screen. I believe strongly, and I know you believe too, because we're on this journey together, that there are kids out there that are just like us, who, if you put us in a situation and you give us the skill sets and give us a little help on how we can solve these problems and the things we can do, you will see that our kids are brilliant. They're brilliant. And one of my favorite things about what we do at C3 is we tell them that at the beginning of every program.
Yeah, that's right. And I think at the end of the day, really, if you can get the kid, if the kid's excited about the story,
Oh, yeah.
and I tell you that we know that they are, because
Yeah.
we see,
That's
I
right.
think one of our C3 events, we had the entire room, like the
Mhm.
throne room of Wakanda.
That's
with,
right.
With
That's
smoke
right.
machines and lights
That's
and,
right.
and,
That's right.
and when the kids walk in, they're like, oh my goodness, they get so excited.
That's right.
And so they really just want to complete the mission
Oh,
because they get pulled
absolutely.
into the story and they become part of the story.
And that is the key. Far too long, I think many kids don't feel like they're part of the story in real life situations. This is one of the opportunities that we get to do with particularly C3 Mission Control, is take real world challenges. I mean, with this one, with this simple mission control demo that we showed you guys today, we partnered with Mapping Black California, which is a nonprofit that uses GIS information and data and ArcGIS to solve issues like US Census and redistricting and resource allocation and things like that. But C3 Mission Control can be applied to anything. I mean, helping kids solve climate change or helping kids solve hunger or food deserts.
And I'm really excited to explore the opportunities that for helping kids solve some of these problems.
Absolutely.
And bringing them into the story.
Absolutely. And I think that you think just like we do. Our kids, I have two daughters at home, and my oldest, Madison, I'm gonna give her a little shout out here. She literally has some of the most off the wall solutions for some of the craziest things. And one day, someone had told her like, well, that's not possible. And that bothered me a little bit because at the end of the day, I watched Richard Branson fly into outer space this week.
I saw that.
I mean, I watched him fly into outer space this week, and that was a dream that he had when he was a kid. And I fully believe that there are solutions that are in the minds of our children that if they just get the skill sets, access to the skill set and the learning, we'll see technology that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Just because our difference is our power.
Yeah, and you've always said that you want the kids not just to be users of technology, but creators of technology.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do.
And it's so true. It's so true. One of our friends, Gene, I don't know if you remember, he said this. At one point in the future, the jobs that are going to exist are the people who code the robots, build the robots, or what is it?
Or maintain the
or
robots.
maintain the robot, right?
Maintain the robots.
Code the robots, build the robots, or maintain the robots.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thought, that he had, but I do believe that our world is shifting, our world is
Mhm.
changing. And I'm a big, human race type, person.
Mhm.
And I believe that we succeed when the difference of perspective is brought to the table to solve whatever problems. Anytime you look at a problem from one perspective, you're gonna hit a roadblock
Yeah, yeah.
at some point, wherever it is.
Mhm.
And at C3, we've just made it our mission to put some more seats at the table. And the way we've decided to do that is by getting our kids ready to sit at those tables. And it's because of the partnerships with the tech companies that we work with, like Esri and the community employee organizations and groups like North Star, that allow us the ability to continue this work so that we can help create a future that we all would love to live in.
So before we wrap up, and
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any questions that from the audience, but please let the audience know how they can find us online.
Yeah, so if you're looking to become a volunteer at C3, at the C3 initiative, or you represent a school district, or you are a teacher, or you are you're a kid who wants to come and join and become a junior agent at the C3 initiative, you're gonna go to thec3initiative.org, and you can find all of our information there. If you're on Instagram, go to the C3 Initiative, and you can find out about all the cool events that are coming up. I think we should probably share a little information about that now. We've got our C3 Expo,
Yeah.
Riverside,
Coming
that's
in
coming up
October.
in October.
Yeah.
And that's on our website as well. And we have a new partnership that we just joined. I'm not gonna tell you who it's with just yet, but you'll find out soon. But we'll be doing another C3 Expo in November, the month right after that. And that's gonna be in the South Bay. And so our goal is to, at the C3 initiative, is to seek out all the bright, brilliant Black minds, young minds that live in our region, and we're gonna put these skills in their hands. I do wanna talk a little bit before we close up, just about, I do wanna talk a little bit about GIS. I do, and I also wanna share a huge thank you to Jack Dangerman and his support from our beginning, to be honest. We've just are overwhelmed by the support that him and his wife and the organization have given us to continue to do what we do. And in conversations, it's true, the geographical information system workforce is dwindling. And when you look at what's possible and you look at the direction that the company is being pushed, you can see that it's needed for us to get some skills in the hands of our kids so that we can help continue pushing the technology that he's developed. And so these modules that you're seeing, this is where the magic of what we do comes in. Kids are actually doing spatial analysis and learning those skill sets. And our goal at the C3 initiative is merely to pique their interest. And if you pique interest and you give access to more, the kids will go for it.
Oh, yeah,
The kids will go
and the
for it.
kids that we've taught GIS before, they catch on quick,
Yeah.
they get excited about it,
Yeah.
and I'm just excited to see where they're gonna take it. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing about one of our success stories? I know there was a kid who is Caleb. Is that his name?
Caleb,
Yeah, Caleb. Just share a little bit about his progression through C3.
So we have a young man who came to C3, and the very first year that he came, he was a little tentative, and he kind of was just looking around like, hey, what's going on here? And then once he realized what we were doing, he got excited about robotics, and his father bought him a robot. So over the years, he practiced on it and played with it. The following year, when he came back to the C3 Expo, he came on as one of the instructors for C3. He just gained a lot of confidence. And that's one of the things that we didn't really talk about.
I was just gonna say,
Part of our
really-
C3 experience is to really turn kids from, or really to help them lead. So a lot of the times when the kids come to an expo, they're actually being taught by their peers. We didn't really talk about that
That's
very
right,
much.
that's right.
So parents, if you're watching, there's leadership opportunities at
Absolutely.
C3 as well. So it was just amazing to watch him instruct one of the kids that came from out of town, with driven in a bus, I believe, to get to the C3 Expo. And the kid was struggling, and he said, you know what, don't worry about it, you can do it. He really just helped that kid and gave him a great experience. And so it's been wonderful to see him go from, and I think you've been doing this for a couple of years now,
Absolutely.
and it's just been amazing to watch how the kids go from like, hey, what am I doing, to leading out and being a part of
Or
this
far
C3.
worse, I don't wanna be here, to then leading out,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
in C3. It's one of the things that warms my heart, and
So we got a
I
couple
got a
questions.
question here.
Yeah, so one of the questions is, will there be a virtual component of the C3 Expo in October?
So unfortunately, we do not have a virtual component. As Director R just explained, we do a very one-to-one learning model for kids who attend a C3 Expo. And so the kids are coming in and they're working with a junior agent who's actually learned the curriculum, learned the skill set, and that other junior person, which is around their age, is actually walking them through the learning modules and teaching them what they need to know.
Around September, I'm teaching a group and walking them through the class, and then we kind of step back on the day of, and the kids teach the kids.
And this is where that leadership that we talked about is there. This is where troubleshooting, this is where they learn to gain that confidence to be able to realize that, hey, if I got it wrong this time, I didn't fail. Like, I just found out that I got to try it a different way. And so because of that, we don't have a virtual component this year. We've actually postponed our C3 Expo, because of the pandemic. But October, we feel like we are going to have a little safe. Now, we have kept it safe by changing our model just a bit. So kids are going to roll through in group or cohorts of 20. And that's how we're gonna kind of get them rolling through the program.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm sorry that there's no,
go ahead. But I should add, mission control really is gonna be our virtual component. It won't be tied specifically to the expo.
Yeah.
But once we do get it launched, kids will be able to log on at any time, on demand,
That's right.
and actually go through missions. And the cool thing is, we're gonna just keep adding missions.
That's right.
So we'll keep adding missions, maybe each month there'll be a new mission for them to participate in.
Absolutely. So at our expo, they're slated for 100 students is what we operate with. When we started C3, we started with 3 kids. I don't know if you remember. We took some kids out to a park. It was 3 of them. We taught them how to write a code to launch a rocket.
Mhm.
And now, over the past couple of years, we've had over 100 kids at every one of our events.
Yes,
And we're growing.
I give him a hard time because every year he tells me there's gonna be 100 kids, and then we end up with like 130.
It's so hard to say no to
Yeah.
you guys. It's so
the
hard.
demand has been phenomenal.
It has been phenomenal.
And so this
for sure.
year, we're making some adjustments so we can get more kids to the program, but we're
Yeah.
very excited.
It was so excited about that. And it's hard because our expos, like they end up closing registration in, I think the fastest we closed registration was in 3 days because the classes were all so full. And so, we're working at getting bigger venues, we're working at really scaling up our organization. Just remember, I mentioned we are a nonprofit organization. And as such, we are not just providing the skill set, we're also working through barriers. There are many attendees that come to our event and the individuals that we're trying to reach who having money to be able to pay for a class or attend one of our courses is not possible. Which is why,
mentioned,
at the C3 initiative, we've made a commitment that we are going to keep our C3 Expo absolutely free. And here's another plug because we are just so thankful for Jack Dangerman and the group at Esri. Do you know that they provided all the laptops for us to be able to teach
And
kids?
we've been putting them to good use.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We put them to great use. And so there is a huge digital divide in that community. And, we are working to make sure the kids only have to come with their excitement and their imagination and the solutions that are locked inside of their minds. And we provide everything that they need to be able to solve the problem so that any barrier that exists to prevent our kids from getting access to this, we work so hard. And I thank you and Mike for the work that we all do to make sure that those barriers are erased for our kids. So all they have to do is show up.
Yep, all you have to do is show up.
All right, well, I do want to thank you all. I do want to thank you all so much. I want to thank you for the opportunity for us to spotlight here at the North Star Homecoming. I'm telling you, this is amazing. It's amazing to see not just the work that we're doing to put African Americans in the tech development space, but how many of us actually exist already. North Star is a group of amazing individuals who are focused on helping minorities, helping Black individuals grow and learn and develop in this tech space. And so we just want to thank you. We want to thank you so much for inviting us to be here and be a part of it. We hope you loved the C3 Mission Control. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to put it out there. We are planning to make C3 Mission Control. He's going to get mad. Okay, I'll go easy. We're planning to make C3 Mission Control available at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
How about that?
I think we can do that.
We can pull it off.
Yeah.
We can pull it off. Thank you guys so much. And we want to thank you again. See you guys soon.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I think you have to end it, Kevin.
Oh, do we have to end? Okay. All right.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Bye.
Bye.